Welcome to the Unapologetically Unstoppable Women podcast, the show where ambition is celebrated, not silenced. Lori, Ann, and Angie are your hosts, and each week we dive into real, unfiltered conversations about women doing extraordinary things in their lives and in their businesses. Here we don't shrink to fit expectations or apologize for our success. We share stories that are inspiring, hilarious, and always authentic, because becoming unstoppable isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and join our community of women who know that no is a complete sentence and there are no limits to what we can achieve together.
Build in time just to step away and clear your head a little bit. So especially if you're stressed, and it's hard to do. I know it's hard to do because I got a deadline, I got a deadline, I got a deadline. And I just need to get this done before I can do anything else. The problem is the way your brain works, that stress response, you're not in your smartest brain. You are more in your reactionary brain. So and it's really easy to make mistakes in that mindset. So stepping away for 5 minutes and coming back, you actually will get more done in a shorter amount of time. Just based upon, I said it based upon experience, but also based upon how the brain works. But it's hard to do. You're like, but I got to get it done. Well, yeah.
So what's your famous saying? What's your famous saying about stress, Lori?
I think it's something to the effect of stress makes you stupid.
It literally does, because when I'm stressed, I forget things. So I really am stupid because I totally block things out. I'm like,
and you'll say, and you'll say things you don't mean. You know, people will accuse you of, well, if you didn't mean it, you wouldn't have said it. No, I was in stupid brain. You know, I might have heard somebody say that in a movie or something, and it just popped up. So give yourself grace, people. If you do say something that you don't mean in a fit of anger or fear, just be kind to yourself and know that it's your stupid brain taking over.
We had a situation in our friends group recently where two friends were going back and forth, and the words, it was in text, the words being said weren't super nice. And I finally responded. I said, let's don't focus on the words. Let's focus on the frustration behind the words, because that's where the problem lies. The words themselves aren't great. Understood. Get it. But it was the stress and the frustration behind that was the bigger problem. So that's what we have to deal with. So pay attention. Your words matter. I mean, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Your words 100% matter, and
yes,
are held accountable for everything that comes out of your mouth. My mom used to tell me that all the time. But why you're doing it? Why am I talking like this? Why am I, like, when I'm not managing my time, why am I beating myself up? Well, because I procrastinated doing something that needed to get done. And here's the end result. And this is how I deal with it. So the words, whether they're to yourself or someone else, they're not okay. So what's the underlying problem? You procrastinated, you're frustrated, you're stressed, whatever it is, diagnose that based on the words you're saying, because the words are a symptom, not the cause.
Love that. Love that. Especially when you said words you say to yourself. That was a beautiful addition, because we oftentimes don't think about how mean we can be to ourselves. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend or a loved one, sometimes not even an enemy, you know?
Right.
It's like, we can be really mean, you know?
If I wasn't myself, I wouldn't be friends with me sometimes.
Yeah, right. Yes, that
not nice.
Yes. Mine has a name. I call her Ugly Angie. And I do not like
There is no such thing.
Oh, Ugly Angie is Mm. She not a good person. Woo.
So let's talk about some of the ways we can continue to promote good time management so we can avoid ugly Angies. And now I need a name for myself. I don't have one. But when
I
those
don't
words
either.
inevitably come out, like what can we do? What do you do that works for you so that you avoid some of that other than the frog, avoid the procrastination and the feeling of you're not getting enough done?
Well, me personally, and I will admit it, I'm not good at time management in my business. But when it comes to something like planning a party or planning a vacation or planning, I'm really good about that. I know I'm going to need this amount of time. And so I have to make sure my calendar's clear so I can do this and this and this. And I'm going to need to do laundry and I'm going to need to, and I got a list and I follow it. When it comes to business, I'm horrible at it. I shouldn't say horrible. I'm not horrible. I do have a calendar, um, but my corporate career, and I'm going to blame my corporate career. I love my corporate career, but I'm going to blame them because the job I had for the 24 years before I started my business, my calendar meant nothing unless I was actually meeting with a client or we had a group meeting or something like that. I could fill my calendar with, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. But if it wasn't a client appointment, it wasn't real to anybody else in the office. So my manager could come in and just say, here, this is now your top priority. And then the other stuff just wouldn't get done. And I would move it to the next week, but it wouldn't get done then either. So my calendar was never real. It never had any power, if that makes sense.
It's like red lights, it's just a suggestion.
Exactly. Yeah, we used to say stop signs outlined in white are optional. They're all outlined in white, at least in the US, right?
Right. Um,
Yes.
what about you, Anne? What do you do?
I continue to be a work in progress, as I've already admitted, but I have a coach I used, and she's a full focus planner. She's certified in the full focus planner technique through, I think, Michael Hyatt. So I worked with her last year. I went to a 2 or 3 day retreat strictly on managing time by using your full focus planner. The thing I like about it is that it's based on quarters instead of a year. So you can go back, it has weekly reviews. So you can go back and look at your week and beat yourself up all you want. Like there's all the stuff there to beat yourself up. And then when you're done doing that, you can plan for the next week and do better. But it's not a year in review, it's a week in review and a month in review and 3 months. And then you don't do anything for longer than 3 months and you do your next quarter again. So anything that, and I know that if I have something I wanted to do, like at the beginning of the year, said, I'm going to do more collaborations. So I've got two. I think I gave myself all year to do them. I don't know, but you define when you do them. Both of my collaborations will happen in the second quarter of this year. So I exceeded whatever expectations I put down. So that's what I do. I have to write it out. It has to be on my phone and in written form. And I really have to be intentional about using that planner and making sure that I follow what I said I wanted to do. And then if second quarter, I'm like, I don't know why I wrote that as a goal. I just changed my goal, you know? So I still manage everything. I don't hold myself to something. If something has changed in the year and I held myself to a standard that is no longer important to me, I don't forget about it and I don't reject it. I just change it to something that is now important or something that fits my business better because my business changed and now I need to do this differently.
Love that.
That makes sense. Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yep.
How about you, Angie?
Yeah.
Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. So let me give some examples because I am the queen of boundaries. And maybe that's from my social work days. I'm not sure, but um, people have links to jump on my calendar. And I have a little caveat on there that if you're more than 3 minutes late, I will not be there. Period. There's no exceptions. And I mean, I'm pretty clear. And you have to check a box that says, yeah, it either says you're a jerk. That's one of the options, or time is precious and I'll be on time. Those are your two options. So nobody's ever no one's had the courage to check you're a jerk. Listeners, maybe you might be one of them, but I had one yesterday, and then she sent me this kind of nasty gram email back and said, I was only 5 minutes late, and I'm like, and I told you after 3 I'm out, and for
right.
and it's for a 15-minute quick chat, and I'm like, I got things to do, so I stick to my boundaries because I've got things to do. I always schedule in buffers. I never do back-to-back meetings. I always have at least 15 minutes in between meetings. Gives me time to get up, fill my water, go pee, whatever. Just go stand outside for a minute. I love to put on a music, like a song that I love to dance to, and just dance around my office and sing at the top of my lungs like a maniac.
Cool.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Unapologetically Unstoppable Women podcast. If today's conversation fired you up, inspired you, or made you laugh out loud, don't forget to hit subscribe and share this episode with another unstoppable woman in your life. Remember, you don't have to apologize for your ambition, and you never have to shrink to fit someone else's expectations. Keep showing up, keep breaking barriers, and keep living life on your own terms. Until next time, stay unapologetic, stay unstoppable.